Chapter 1: The Seed of Thought: Planting the Foundation for Success. Why do you think life will pause and wait for you? Because it won't. I'm not here to answer that for you. You already know the truth deep down. What I want to show you is why you must become successful and how your thoughts are the key to unlocking that reality. Stay with it, because this journey starts now. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, a vast universe of possibilities where every dream, every ambition, and every fear takes root. The phrase, "the mind is everything," what you think, you become, isn't just a catchy slogan, it's a universal law, as real as gravity. Your thoughts shape your reality, sculpting the world around you like a master artist chiseling a block of marble. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every outcome you experience begins as a single thought. This chapter is about understanding the weight of that truth and learning to harness it to transform your life. Let's start with the basics. Your brain is a supercomputer, processing millions of signals every second, filtering the world through your perceptions, beliefs, and experiences. Scientists estimate the human brain can store up to 2.5 petabytes of information, equivalent to 3 million hours of TV shows. But it's not just a storage device, it's a creator. Every thought you entertain sends ripples through your neural pathways, reinforcing patterns that dictate how you feel, act, and ultimately who you become. Positive thoughts build bridges to opportunity. Negative ones erect walls of limitation. The question is, what kind of architect are you being with your mind right now? Consider this. Every great achievement in history began as a thought. The Wright brothers imagined humans soaring through the skies before they built the first airplane. Nelson Mandela envisioned a free South Africa while confined in a prison cell. Even the smartphone you're likely holding was once just a spark in someone's mind. These examples aren't anomalies, they're proof of a principle. Your thoughts are seeds, and your life is the garden they grow in. Plant seeds of doubt, fear, or mediocrity, and you'll harvest a life that reflects those qualities. Plant seeds of ambition, resilience, and purpose, and you'll cultivate a reality that mirrors your highest aspirations. But let's get real for a moment. Most people don't consciously choose their thoughts. They let their minds run on autopilot, shaped by external influences, social media, news, toxic relationships, or past failures. The average person has about 60,000 thoughts a day, and studies suggest 80% of them are negative, with 95% being repetitive. That means most of us are stuck in a loop, replaying the same limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. Success is for other people. If you're reading this, you've probably had those thoughts too. And that's okay. Acknowledging them is the first step. The real question is, are you ready to take control of the steering wheel? Taking control starts with awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. Begin by observing your thoughts without judgment. What do you think about when you wake up? When you face a challenge? When you dream about the future? Write them down if you have to. Journaling is a powerful tool to externalize and analyze your mental patterns. Once you see your thoughts laid bare, you'll notice the ones that serve you and the ones that sabotage you. This isn't about pretending everything is sunshine and rainbows. It's about recognizing that you have the power to shift your focus. A single shift in perspective can change everything. For example, instead of thinking, "I failed at this task," try, "I learned something valuable that will make me better next time." That small pivot rewires your brain to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Now, let's talk about the science behind this. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your life. Every time you think a thought, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with it. Think of it like walking through a field of tall grass. The more you tread the same path, the more defined it becomes. If you keep thinking, "I'm destined to fail," that pathway becomes a superhighway, making failure feel inevitable. But if you start thinking, "I'm capable of greatness," you carve out a new path, one that leads to confidence and action. The beauty of neuroplasticity is that it's never too late to change. Whether you're 18 or 80, your brain is malleable, ready to be shaped by the thoughts you choose to nurture. But choosing better thoughts isn't enough on its own. You have to pair them with intention and action. Think of your thoughts as the blueprint and your actions as the construction crew. A blueprint for a skyscraper is useless without workers to build it, just as a dream of success stays a fantasy without effort. Start small. If you want to become a successful entrepreneur, don't just think, I want to be rich. Instead, think, I'm going to learn one new skill this week that brings me closer to my goal. Then do it. Read a book, take a course, network with someone in your field. Each action reinforces the thought, creating a feedback loop that propels you forward. Let's address the elephant in the room: fear. Fear is the biggest thief of potential, whispering lies that keep you stuck. What if I fail? What will people think? What if I'm not ready? Here's the truth: fear is just a thought, and thoughts can be changed. When fear creeps in, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Most of the time, the answer isn't as catastrophic as your mind makes it out to be. And even if you do fail, failure is just feedback, a stepping stone to success. Thomas Edison didn't see his 10,000 failed attempts at the light bulb as failures. He saw them as 10,000 ways to learn what didn't work. Adopt that mindset, and fear loses its grip. As you embark on this journey, remember that your mind is a sacred space. Guard it fiercely. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, consume content that inspires you, and distance yourself from negativity that clouds your vision. You wouldn't let someone dump trash in your living room, so why let toxic thoughts or influences pollute your mind? Curate your mental environment with the same care you'd give to your physical one. This might mean unfollowing certain accounts on social media, setting boundaries with negative people, or dedicating time each day to feed your mind with positivity through meditation, affirmations, or gratitude practices. By the end of this chapter, I want you to take one actionable step. Decide on a single thought you're going to plant today. Make it specific, positive, and aligned with the person you want to become. Maybe it's, I am capable of achieving my goals, or I am worthy of success. Write it down, say it out loud, and repeat it daily. Let it be the seed that grows into the life you envision. The mind is everything, and what you think, you become. So, what are you thinking right now? The answer to that question is the foundation of your future. Chapter 2: Rewiring Your Beliefs. The blueprint of your reality. Your mind is a battlefield, and your beliefs are the generals commanding the fight. Every choice you make, every step you take, and every outcome you experience is shaped by the beliefs you hold about yourself, the world, and what's possible. If chapter 1 was about planting the seed of thought, this chapter is about ensuring the soil it grows in, your belief system, is fertile and ready to nurture your greatest potential. Because here's the truth: what you believe, you become. A limiting belief will chain you to mediocrity, while an empowering one will launch you toward greatness. Let's dive deep into how to identify, dismantle, and rebuild the beliefs that define your reality. Beliefs aren't just abstract ideas. They're the lenses through which you see the world. They're formed over years, shaped by your upbringing, culture, experiences, and the stories you've been told or told yourself. Some beliefs serve you, like the conviction that hard work pays off, or that you're capable of learning anything with effort. Others sabotage you, like the nagging voice that says, I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve success, or I'll never escape my past. These limiting beliefs are like invisible walls, keeping you confined to a smaller version of your life than you're capable of living. The good news: beliefs aren't fixed, they're malleable, and you have the power to reshape them. Let's start by understanding where beliefs come from. As a child, your mind was a sponge, absorbing everything around you. If you grew up hearing, money is hard to come by, or you're not good at math, those messages likely embedded themselves into your subconscious. A study from the Journal of Psychological Science suggests that beliefs formed in childhood can persist into adulthood, influencing behavior in ways we don't even realize. Add to that the constant barrage of societal messages: advertisements telling you you're not enough, social media showcasing curated perfection, or even well-meaning people projecting their fears onto you. And it's no wonder many of us carry beliefs that don't serve our goals. So, how do you know what you believe? It's not always obvious, because beliefs often hide in the background, masquerading as facts. A powerful exercise is to examine your self-talk. What do you say to yourself when you face a challenge? If you're trying to start a business and your immediate thought is, I don't have what it takes, That's a belief, not a truth. Or if you shy away from opportunities because people like me don't get those chances, that's another belief holding you back. Grab a notebook and spend a day tracking your thoughts, especially in moments of doubt or decision making. Look for patterns. Do you see yourself as capable or unworthy? Abundant or scarce? A victor or a victim? This awareness is the first step to transformation. Once you've identified your beliefs, it's time to interrogate them. Not every belief is bad, but every belief should be examined. Ask yourself 3 questions about each one. Where did this belief come from? Is it based on evidence, or did you inherit it from someone else's opinion? Does this belief empower me or limit me? Does it push you toward your goals or pull you away? What would my life look like if I replaced this belief with a more empowering one? What possibilities would open up? Let's take a common limiting belief. I'm not good with money. Maybe it came from watching your parents struggle financially or from a few bad decisions you made in the past. This belief might make you avoid budgeting, investing, or pursuing opportunities that require financial savvy, keeping you stuck in a cycle of scarcity. Now imagine replacing it with, I'm learning to manage money wisely. This new belief encourages you to read books on personal finance, take a course, or seek advice from a mentor. Over time, your actions align with this belief, and your reality shifts. You become someone who is good with money. This process isn't just wishful thinking, it's backed by science. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, a widely studied psychological approach, is built on the idea that changing your thoughts and beliefs can change your behavior and emotions. A 2018 meta-analysis in the Journal of Clinical Psychology found that CBT is highly effective for reshaping negative thought patterns, leading to measurable improvements in areas like anxiety, depression, and self-esteem. Your beliefs are like software running in the background of your mind. Update the code, and the whole system runs differently. But rewiring beliefs isn't a one-and-done task. It requires repetition and reinforcement. Your brain is wired to stick with familiar patterns, even if they're harmful, because familiarity feels safe. That's why challenging a belief can feel uncomfortable, even scary. If you've spent years believing you're not leadership material, telling yourself, I'm a natural leader, might feel like a lie at first. That's normal. The key is to act as if the new belief is true. This is called fake it till you make it, but it's more than a cliche, it's a strategy. If you want to believe you're confident, start acting confidently. Stand tall, speak clearly, take bold actions. Each action strengthens the new belief, creating a positive feedback loop. Over time, the belief becomes your reality. Let's talk about evidence. Your mind loves proof, and it will look for it to validate your beliefs, whether they're empowering or limiting. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll notice every red light, every rejection, every setback as proof that the universe is against you. But if you believe you're destined for success, you'll start noticing opportunities, coincidences, and small wins that confirm that belief. This is called confirmation bias, and you can use it to your advantage. Surround yourself with evidence that supports your new beliefs. Read biographies of people who overcame odds similar to yours. Connect with mentors or peers who embody the qualities you're cultivating. Create a vision board with images and words that represent the life you're building. Your mind will start to see these as proof that your new beliefs are true. Another powerful tool is affirmations, but they have to be done right. Simply repeating, I am successful, won't cut it if you don't believe it deep down. Instead, craft affirmations that feel achievable and pair them with action. For example, instead of I'm a millionaire, try I'm taking consistent steps toward financial freedom. Say it daily, write it down, and then act on it, whether it's saving a small amount, learning about investments, or pitching a new idea. A 2015 study in the journal Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience found that affirmations can activate the brain's reward centers, increasing motivation and self-efficacy when paired with intentional behavior. Now, let's address the external world. Your environment shapes your beliefs more than you might realize. If you're surrounded by people who constantly complain, criticize, or doubt your dreams, their negativity will seep into your subconscious. A 2017 study from Harvard Business Review found that social networks heavily influence mindset. People with optimistic, driven peers are more likely to adopt similar attitudes. Audit your circle. Who are you spending the most time with? Do they lift you up or drag you down? It's not about cutting people out ruthlessly, but about prioritizing relationships that align with the person you're becoming. Seek out communities, online or offline, where people share your ambitions. Join a mastermind group, attend workshops, or follow X accounts that post inspiring, growth-oriented content. Your environment is the soil. Make sure it's nourishing your growth. One final point. Patience is crucial. Rewiring beliefs takes time, just like building muscle or learning a new skill. You might not see results overnight, but every small step compounds. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't see the roots growing, but they're spreading beneath the surface, anchoring the tree for future growth. Each time you challenge a limiting belief, act on a new one, or surround yourself with positivity, you're strengthening those roots. One day, you'll look up and see a towering reality that started with a single shift in belief. Your homework for this chapter: identify one limiting belief that's holding you back. Write it down. Answer the 3 questions. Where did it come from? Does it empower or limit? What would life look like with a new belief? And then craft a new, empowering belief to replace it. Start acting on that belief today, even in a small way. Maybe it's signing up for a course, reaching out to a mentor, or simply speaking kinder to yourself. The mind is everything, and the beliefs you cultivate today are the blueprint for the life you'll live tomorrow. Chapter 3: The Power of Focus, Directing Your Mind's Energy. If your mind is the architect of your reality, then focus is the lens that sharpens its vision. Every moment, your attention determines what you see, what you feel, and ultimately, what you create. In a world overflowing with distractions, endless notifications, societal pressures, and internal doubts, mastering your focus is like wielding a superpower. The phrase, "the mind is everything," what you think, you become, hinges on this truth. Where you direct your focus shapes the thoughts you nurture, the beliefs you reinforce, and the life you build. This chapter is a deep dive into why focus is your greatest asset and how to harness it to sculpt a future that aligns with your highest aspirations. Let's start with a fundamental truth. Your brain can only process a fraction of the information it encounters. Right now, as you read this, your mind is filtering out countless stimuli: the hum of your surroundings, the sensation of your clothes, the millions of data points flooding your senses. A 2009 study from the University of California estimated that the average person is exposed to the equivalent of 34 gigabytes of information daily, enough to overwhelm even the most disciplined mind. Your brain copes by prioritizing what you focus on, amplifying those signals while muting the rest. This is called selective attention, and it's why what you choose to focus on becomes your reality. Think about it like a spotlight on a stage. Whatever you shine that light on, whether it's a goal, a fear, or a distraction, takes center stage in your life. Focus on your failures, and they'll loom larger, casting a shadow over your potential. Focus on your goals, and they'll grow clearer, guiding your actions like a North Star. The problem is, most people let their spotlight wander aimlessly, pulled by external noise or internal chaos. Social media algorithms designed to hijack your attention keep you scrolling through endless reels. Negative news cycles feed your anxiety. Even your own thoughts can spiral into worry or regret, stealing your focus from what matters. If you want to become the person you're meant to be, you must take control of that spotlight. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine 2 people starting a business. Person A focuses on every possible obstacle. The economy might crash. Competitors are too strong. They don't have enough experience. Their spotlight illuminates fear, and their actions reflect it. They hesitate, overthink, and stall. Person B, on the other hand, focuses on their vision. They study successful entrepreneurs, network with mentors, and take small, consistent steps. Their spotlight highlights opportunity, and their actions align with progress. Same circumstances, different focus, different outcomes. A 2016 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that individuals who practiced focused attention on positive goals reported higher levels of motivation, resilience, and life satisfaction. Your focus isn't just a preference, it's a predictor of your success. So how do you train your focus? It starts with clarity. You can't focus on something vague or undefined. Ask yourself, what do I want to become? Not in a generic sense like successful or happy, but specifically, what does your ideal life look like? Picture it in vivid detail. If your goal is to become a best selling author, see yourself holding your published book, signing copies at a packed event, reading reviews from readers whose lives you've touched. This mental image isn't just daydreaming, it's a focal point that anchors your attention. Visualization, used by athletes like Michael Phelps and Serena Williams, is a proven technique. Studies show it activates the same neural pathways as physical practice, priming your brain for action. Rhyming for action. Once you have clarity, protect your focus like a priceless treasure. Distractions are the thieves of progress, and they're everywhere. Your phone, for instance, is a master pickpocket. Research from the University of California, Irvine, found that it takes an average of 23 minutes to regain focus after a single interruption. That notification ping might seem harmless, but it's derailing your momentum. Start by creating a distraction-free environment. Turn off non-essential notifications, set specific times to check emails or social media, and designate a sacred space for focused work. If you're serious about your goals, treat your attention like a currency. Spend it wisely. But external distractions are only half the battle. Your mind itself can be its own worst enemy, wandering to worries, regrets, or random thoughts. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness isn't about sitting cross-legged and chanting. It's about training your brain to stay present. A 2017 study in the journal Nature found that mindfulness practices improve attention span and reduce mind wandering, leading to better performance on cognitive tasks. Start small. Try a 5-minute daily practice where you focus on your breath, noticing when your mind drifts and gently bringing it back. Over time, this strengthens your mental muscle, making it easier to stay focused on your goals even when life gets chaotic. Another key to focus is prioritization. You can't focus on everything at once. Trying to do so leads to burnout and mediocrity. The Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Identify the high-impact actions that move you closest to your goal and ruthlessly prioritize them. If you're building a career, what's the one skill, connection, or project that will make the biggest difference? Focus on that and let the rest take a backseat. Make a daily to-do list, but limit it to 3 key tasks. As productivity expert Greg McKeown writes in Essentialism, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Take control by choosing where your spotlight shines. Energy management is also critical. Your focus is finite, like a battery that depletes throughout the day. A 2014 study in the Journal of Neuroscience showed that decision fatigue and mental exhaustion reduce cognitive performance over time. To maximize your focus, align your most important tasks with your peak energy periods. Are you sharpest in the morning? Tackle your biggest projects then. Feeling drained after lunch? Use that time for low-effort tasks like emails. Fuel your brain with good nutrition, regular exercise, and adequate sleep. Studies show that even mild dehydration or sleep deprivation can impair attention by up to 20%. Treat your body like the high-performance machine it is, and your focus will thank you. Let's talk about the long game. Focus isn't just about today, it's about sustaining your attention over weeks, months, and years. This is where discipline comes in. Motivation is fleeting. It's like a spark that ignites but fades. Discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning. Build habits that reinforce your focus. Create a morning routine that sets the tone for your day. Maybe it's journaling your goals, meditating, or reviewing your vision. Use tools like time blocking to dedicate specific hours to deep work. And don't underestimate the power of small wins. Each time you complete a focused task, your brain releases dopamine, reinforcing the habit. A 2013 study in the journal Motivation and Emotion found that tracking small achievements boosts long-term focus and persistence. One final thought. Focus isn't about perfection. You'll get distracted. You'll have off days. The key is to course correct without guilt. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. If you waste an hour scrolling, don't spiral into self-criticism. Just refocus and move forward. Compassion for yourself is as important as discipline. As psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows, viewing setbacks as opportunities to learn keeps you resilient and focused on the long term. Your homework for this chapter: define one specific goal you want to focus on for the next 30 days. Write it down in vivid detail, what it looks like, feels like, and why it matters. Then, eliminate one distraction, like turning off notifications for an hour a day. And commit to one daily habit that sharpens your focus, like 5 minutes of mindfulness or time blocking your most important task. Track your progress and notice how your spotlight starts to transform your reality. The mind is everything, and where you focus it, you become. Chapter 4: The Alchemy of Action, Turning Thoughts into Reality. Your thoughts are the spark, your beliefs are the blueprint, and your focus is the lens. But without action, they're just potential, flickering in the void. The phrase, "the mind is everything, what you think you become," finds its ultimate truth in action. Action is the alchemy that transforms the intangible, your dreams, ideas, and aspirations, into the tangible reality of your life. This chapter is a deep exploration of why action is the bridge between your mind and your destiny, and how to take consistent, purposeful steps to become the person you're meant to be. Buckle up, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's start with a hard truth. Thinking alone won't get you anywhere. You can visualize success, rewrite your beliefs, and sharpen your focus. But if you don't act, you're just daydreaming. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to what you do. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was a single mother on welfare, battling depression and rejection. She had the idea for a magical world, but it wasn't her imagination alone that made her a legend. It was the daily grind of writing, revising, and submitting manuscripts despite countless rejections. Action turned her thoughts into a reality that changed the world. Your actions, no matter how small, are the building blocks of your future. Why is action so powerful? Because it creates a feedback loop with your mind. Every step you take reinforces your thoughts and beliefs, making them more real. When you act on a goal, you signal to your brain that you're serious, triggering a cascade of motivation and confidence. A 2018 study in the journal Behavioral Brain Research found that taking action, even in small doses, activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and making you more likely to keep going. This is why starting is often the hardest part. Once you take that first step, momentum kicks in and the path becomes clearer. But let's address the elephant in the room: fear of action. It's one thing to dream big. It's another to step into the unknown. Fear of failure, judgment, or even success can paralyze you. What if you mess up? What if people laugh? What if you're not ready? Here's the reality: you'll never feel fully ready. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. As author Mel Robbins points out in her 5-second rule, hesitation is the mind's way of protecting you from discomfort. But discomfort is where growth happens. Her rule is simple: when you feel the urge to act, count down from 5 and move before doubt creeps in. Try it. The next time you're hesitating to send an email, start a project, or speak up, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. It's a small hack that bypasses overthinking and jumpstarts action. So, how do you make action a habit? Start with the principle of micro-actions. Grand gestures are inspiring, but small, consistent steps are transformative. Want to get fit? Don't aim for a 2-hour gym session right away. Just commit to 5 push-ups a day. Want to write a book? Write 1 paragraph daily. A 2016 study from University College London found that habits form through repetition, and small actions are easier to sustain than big ones. Over time, these micro-actions compound. For example, writing 200 words a day adds up to 73,000 words in a year, enough for a novel. The key is consistency, not intensity. Show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, because action begets action. Let's talk about planning versus doing. Planning is important. It gives your actions direction. But over-planning is procrastination in disguise. You don't need a perfect strategy to start. As entrepreneur Reid Hoffman famously said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." The same applies to your goals. Your first attempt at anything, a business pitch, a workout routine, a creative project, will likely be messy. That's okay. Action creates clarity. You'll learn more from one imperfect step than from months of theorizing. Take the leap, adjust as you go, and trust that the path will reveal itself. Another critical piece is aligning your actions with your values. Actions without purpose feel hollow and are hard to sustain. Ask yourself, Why does this goal matter to me? If you want to build a business, is it for financial freedom, to impact lives, or to prove something to yourself? When your actions are rooted in a deeper why, they carry more weight. A 2014 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who connect their actions to intrinsic motivations, like personal growth or contribution, are more likely to persist than those driven by external rewards, like money or fame. Write down your why and revisit it when motivation wanes. It's your anchor. Now, let's tackle obstacles. Life will throw curveballs, time constraints, setbacks, unexpected challenges. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of obstacles, it's how they respond. Adopt a problem-solving mindset. When a barrier arises, ask, what's one small action I can take to move forward? If you're short on time, can you dedicate 10 minutes a day? If you lack resources, can you learn a skill for free online? A 2019 study in psychological science showed that people who view challenges as opportunities rather than threats are more likely to take action and achieve their goals. Reframe obstacles as puzzles to solve, not walls to stop you. Your environment also plays a huge role in your ability to act. Surround yourself with people who inspire action, doers, not dreamers. A 2017 study from the American Psychological Association found that social accountability increases follow-through. Share your goals with a trusted friend or join a community, like a mastermind group or an X community, where people hold each other accountable. Create systems that make action easier. Set up automatic reminders, keep your workspace organized, or prep your gym clothes the night before. Remove friction between you and your actions, and you'll be more likely to follow through. One often overlooked aspect of action is reflection. After you act, take time to assess. What worked? What didn't? What can you improve? This isn't about dwelling on mistakes, but about learning from them. Thomas Edison didn't just try 10,000 ways to make a light bulb. He analyzed each attempt to refine his approach. Keep a journal to track your actions and outcomes. Over time, you'll see patterns and gain insights that make your actions more effective. A 2020 study in the Leadership Quarterly found that reflective practices increase self-efficacy, making you more confident in your ability to act. Finally, celebrate your actions, no matter how small. Every step forward is a victory. Did you make that phone call you were dreading? Celebrate it. Did you finish a single push-up when you felt like quitting? That's a win. Acknowledging progress rewires your brain to crave more action. A 2015 study in Frontiers in Psychology showed that celebrating small wins boosts motivation and reduces procrastination. Treat yourself to something simple, a coffee, a moment of gratitude, or a mental high five. These moments of recognition fuel your momentum. Your homework for this chapter: pick one goal and break it into the smallest possible action you can take today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. If your goal is to start a business, your action might be researching one competitor. If it's getting healthy, do 1 minute of stretching. Write down this action, do it, and note how it feels. Then commit to one micro action daily for the next week. Track your progress and celebrate each step. The mind is everything, and through action, what you think becomes what you live. Chapter 5: The Discipline of Consistency, Building the Muscle of Success. If action is the bridge between your thoughts and your reality, consistency is the steel reinforcing that bridge, making it unbreakable. The phrase, "the mind is everything, what you think you become," only holds true when you show up day after day, turning fleeting sparks of inspiration into a blazing fire of achievement. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's the quiet, relentless grind that separates dreamers from doers. This chapter is a deep dive into why consistency is the backbone of success and how to cultivate it as a discipline that transforms your thoughts into a life of purpose and impact. Let's start with a truth that might sting. Talent, intelligence, and even passion are not enough. The world is full of brilliant minds with big ideas who never make it because they lack the discipline to show up consistently. Consider the story of Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps. His record-breaking 23 gold medals weren't the result of raw talent alone. He trained 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for years, even on days he felt exhausted or unmotivated. Consistency turned his potential into greatness. Your thoughts, no matter how powerful, need the steady rhythm of consistent action to manifest into reality. Why is consistency so transformative? Because it compounds. Small actions, repeated over time, create exponential results. Think of it like investing money. A single dollar won't make you rich, but a dollar invested daily with interest grows into a fortune. A 2019 study in the Journal of Behavioral Decision Making found that consistent small actions lead to greater long-term outcomes than sporadic bursts of effort. Writing 200 words a day might seem trivial, but in a year, that's a 73,000-word manuscript. Running 1 mile a day might feel insignificant, but in a year, that's 365 miles. Consistency turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, one step at a time. But let's be honest, consistency is hard. Life is messy, distractions are endless, and motivation ebbs and flows. The key is to stop relying on motivation and start building discipline. Motivation is like a sunny day, nice when it's there, but unreliable. Discipline is like a sturdy umbrella. It keeps you moving forward no matter the weather. A 2017 study in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that people who rely on discipline rather than motivation are more likely to achieve long-term goals. Discipline means doing the work even when you don't feel like it, because you're committed to the person you're becoming. So, how do you build this discipline? Start by embracing the power of systems over willpower. Willpower is finite. Studies show it depletes throughout the day, especially under stress. Systems, on the other hand, make consistency automatic. Create routines that reduce decision fatigue. For example, if you want to exercise consistently, decide in advance when, where, and how you'll do it. Say, a 20-minute workout at 7 a.m. in your living room. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Schedule it like an unmissable appointment. A 2016 study in health psychology found that habit-based interventions, like consistent routines, increase adherence to behaviors like exercise or healthy eating by up to 70%. Another key is starting small, ridiculously small. The goal isn't to overhaul your life overnight, but to build a foundation you can stick with. Want to read more? Start with 1 page a day. Want to meditate? Try 1 minute. This approach, called micro-habits, leverages the psychology of momentum. A 2015 study in European Journal of Social Psychology showed that small, achievable habits are easier to maintain and lead to greater long-term change than ambitious goals. Once the habit is ingrained, you can scale it up. 1 page becomes a chapter, 1 minute becomes 10. The key is to make it so easy you can't fail. Let's talk about tracking. What you measure, you improve. Keep a record of your consistent actions, whether it's a checklist, a journal, or an app. Seeing your streak, whether it's 3 days or 3 months, creates a sense of accountability and pride. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that tracking progress increases self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to succeed, which fuels further consistency. For example, if your goal is to network, log every outreach email or conversation. Watching the tally grow reinforces the habit and keeps you motivated. Obstacles will test your consistency. Life happens. Sickness, work crises, family demands. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they handle disruptions. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for resilience. If you miss a day, don't spiral into guilt. Get back on track immediately. A 2018 study in Journal of Applied Psychology found that people who practice flexible consistency, allowing for occasional slip-ups but quickly resuming their habits, are more likely to achieve long-term goals than those who demand perfection. Think of consistency as a river. It might bend around rocks, but it keeps flowing. Your environment is another critical factor. You're more likely to stay consistent if your surroundings support your goals. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious options and clear out the junk. If you want to write, create a dedicated space free from distractions. A 2017 study in environment and behavior showed that environmental cues significantly influence habit formation. Surround yourself with people who model consistency. Join a community, like a fitness group or an X thread of goal-oriented individuals, where accountability and encouragement keep you on track. Let's address the mental game. Consistency requires a mindset shift. You're not just doing tasks, you're becoming someone new. Every time you show up, You're casting a vote for the person you want to be, as author James Clear writes in Atomic Habits. If you want to be a writer, every word you write is a vote for that identity. If you want to be a leader, every decision you make with confidence is a vote for that version of you. Over time, these votes add up, reshaping your self-image. A 2019 study in Journal of Personality found that aligning actions with desired identity increases intrinsic motivation, making consistency feel less like a chore and more like a purpose. One powerful tool is visualization with a twist. Don't just visualize the outcome, visualize the process. Picture yourself showing up daily, sitting at your desk, hitting the gym, making that sales call. A 2016 study in Journal of Sports Sciences showed that process-focused visualization improves performance more than outcome-focused visualization because it prepares your brain for the work, not just the reward. Spend a few minutes each morning imagining yourself taking action consistently. It's like a mental rehearsal that primes you for success. Finally, reward yourself strategically. Consistency doesn't mean grinding without joy. Celebrate milestones, but tie rewards to effort, not just results. Finished a week of daily workouts? Treat yourself to a new book or a relaxing evening. A 2014 study in Journal of Consumer Research found that effort-based rewards strengthen habits by reinforcing the value of the work itself. These rewards keep you engaged without derailing your focus. Your homework for this chapter: choose one goal and commit to one small daily action for the next 30 days. Make it specific and easy. Write 100 words, walk 10 minutes, learn one new fact. Create a system to support it, e.g., set a reminder, prep your environment, track your progress, and plan a small reward for hitting a 7-day streak. If you slip, get back on track the next day. Consistency is the muscle that turns your thoughts into reality, and every day you show up, you're sculpting the person you'll become. Chapter 6: Mastering Emotional Resilience. Navigating the storms within. Your mind is the engine of your destiny, but emotions are the fuel, and sometimes the storms that drive or derail it. The phrase, "the mind is everything, what you think, you become," extends beyond thoughts and beliefs to include the emotional currents that shape how you perceive and respond to the world. Emotional resilience, the ability to weather setbacks, manage negative emotions, and keep moving forward, is the cornerstone of turning your thoughts into reality. This chapter is a deep exploration of how to master your emotions, transform challenges into growth, and cultivate the inner strength to become the person you envision, no matter what life throws at you. Emotions are powerful. They can propel you toward greatness or pull you into a spiral of doubt and despair. When you're riding high on enthusiasm, the world feels limitless. Ideas flow, actions feel effortless, and success seems inevitable. But when fear, frustration, or self-doubt creep in, they can paralyze you, clouding your focus and undermining your consistency. A 2017 study in emotion found that emotional states directly influence cognitive performance, decision-making, and motivation. If you want to become what you think, you must learn to navigate these emotional waves without letting them capsize your ship. Let's start with the science of emotions. Your brain's limbic system, particularly the amygdala, is the command center for emotional responses. When you face a challenge, say a rejection or a failure, the amygdala triggers a fight, flight, or freeze response, flooding your body with stress hormones like cortisol. This is why a single setback can feel like the end of the world, making you question your worth or abandon your goals. But here's the good news. You're not at the mercy of your emotions. Through intentional practices, you can rewire your brain to respond with resilience rather than reactivity. A 2019 study in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews showed that techniques like mindfulness and cognitive reappraisal can reduce amygdala activity, helping you stay calm and focused under pressure. So, what is emotional resilience? It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending everything's fine. It's about feeling your emotions fully, understanding their message, and choosing how to respond rather than react. Imagine you're pursuing a big goal, like launching a business, and you lose a major client. The initial sting of disappointment might make you want to quit. Resilience doesn't mean ignoring that pain. It means acknowledging it, learning from it, and taking the next step anyway. It's the difference between saying, "This failure proves I'm not cut out for this," and This setback is teaching me how to improve. That shift in perspective is where your power lies. Let's break down how to build this resilience. First, practice emotional awareness. Most people are so caught up in their feelings that they don't stop to name them. A 2016 study in psychological science found that labeling emotions, called affect labeling, reduces their intensity and helps you process them more effectively. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Is it fear, frustration, shame? Write it down or say it out loud. Naming the emotion creates distance between you and it, giving you space to choose your response. For example, instead of thinking, I'm a failure, you might say, I'm feeling discouraged because this didn't go as planned. This subtle shift opens the door to problem solving. Next, reframe your emotional triggers. Every challenge carries a lesson, but you have to look for it. Cognitive reappraisal, a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy, involves reinterpreting a negative situation to find its silver lining. Lost that client? Maybe it's an opportunity to refine your pitch or explore a new market. A 2018 study in Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who practice reappraisal experience less stress and greater emotional well-being over time. When faced with a setback, ask, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? This doesn't mean denying the pain, it means mining it for growth. Another key is regulating your emotional energy. Emotions are like weather patterns, they ebb and flow. Trying to stay positive all the time is unrealistic and exhausting. Instead, aim for balance. Practices like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing, or journaling can help you stay grounded. A 2020 meta-analysis in The Lancet found that mindfulness-based interventions reduce stress and improve emotional regulation by up to 30%. Try this simple exercise. When you're feeling overwhelmed, take 5 slow breaths, focusing on the air moving in and out. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calming your body and mind. Even a minute of this can reset your emotional state, letting you act from clarity rather than chaos. Let's talk about self-compassion, because resilience isn't about being tough, it's about being kind to yourself. When you fail or falter, your inner critic might scream, "You're not good enough." That voice isn't truth, it's a habit. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, found that treating yourself with kindness during setbacks increases resilience and motivation. Instead of beating yourself up, try this. Imagine what you'd say to a friend who's struggling. Maybe, "You're doing your best, and that's enough." Now say it to yourself. A 2015 study in Journal of Clinical Psychology showed that self-compassion reduces anxiety and boosts persistence, helping you bounce back faster. Your environment also shapes your emotional resilience. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, friends, mentors, or communities, like X groups who share your drive and offer support. A 2017 study in social psychological and personality science found that social support buffers stress and enhances emotional resilience. Conversely, toxic relationships or negative media can amplify emotional turbulence. Audit your inputs. What books, posts, or conversations are you engaging with? Curate a mental diet that fuels optimism and strength. For example, follow X accounts that share stories of perseverance or practical tips for growth, and limit exposure to doom scrolling or drama. Failure is inevitable, but it's also a teacher. Emotional resilience means seeing failure not as a dead end, but as a detour. Take the example of Oprah Winfrey, who was fired from her first TV job and told she wasn't fit for television. Instead of internalizing that rejection, she used it as fuel to keep going, eventually building a media empire. When you face failure, ask, what's the story I'm telling myself about this? If it's a story of defeat, rewrite it as one of growth. A 2019 study in Journal of Applied Psychology found that people who view failures as learning opportunities are more likely to persist and succeed. Consistency ties into resilience. Emotions fluctuate, but showing up for your goals, even on tough days, builds mental toughness. On days when you feel low, lower the bar, but don't skip the work. If you're too drained to write a chapter, write a sentence. If you can't hit the gym, take a walk. A 2016 study in motivation and emotion showed that maintaining even minimal consistency during emotional lows strengthens long-term resilience. These small acts reinforce the belief that you're in control, no matter how you feel. Finally, Cultivate gratitude. It's not just a feel-good buzzword, it's a science-backed tool for emotional resilience. A 2017 study in Journal of Positive Psychology found that daily gratitude practices increase emotional well-being and reduce stress by shifting focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. Each night, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. A kind word, a sunny day, a step toward your goal. Over time, this rewires your brain to seek positivity, making it easier to weather emotional storms. Your homework for this chapter: practice one emotional resilience tool daily for a week. Try labeling your emotions when you feel stressed, reframing a challenge with a growth oriented question, or doing a 1-minute breathing exercise. Also, write down one thing you're grateful for each day. Notice how these practices shift your emotional state and keep you moving toward your goals. The mind is everything, and by mastering your emotions, you pave the way for what you think to become what you are. Chapter 7: The Art of Adaptability, Thriving in an Ever-Changing World. Your thoughts shape your reality, but the world around you is in constant flux, unpredictable, chaotic, and full of surprises. The phrase, "the mind is everything, what you think, you become," doesn't just mean thinking positively or acting consistently. It means cultivating a mind flexible enough to bend without breaking. Adaptability, the ability to adjust your thoughts, plans, and actions in response to change, is the secret weapon that keeps you on course when life's winds shift. This chapter is a deep exploration of how to master adaptability, embrace uncertainty, and turn challenges into opportunities to become the person you're destined to be. Change is the only constant. Whether it's a global economic shift, a personal setback, or a technological disruption, the world doesn't care about your carefully laid plans. Consider the story of Netflix. It started as a DVD rental service, but when streaming technology emerged, its founders pivoted, transforming it into a global entertainment giant. That adaptability wasn't luck, it was a mindset. If they'd clung to their original model, they'd be a footnote in history, not a household name. Your ability to adapt your thoughts and strategies to new realities is what determines whether you thrive or merely survive. Why is adaptability so crucial? Because rigidity kills progress. If your mindset is fixed on one path, one outcome, or one way of doing things, you're setting yourself up for frustration when life inevitably shifts. A 2018 study in Journal of Personality found that people with high psychological flexibility, those who adapt their thoughts and behaviors to changing circumstances, report higher life satisfaction and better goal achievement. Adaptability doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means finding new ways to reach it when the road you're on gets blocked. Let's start with the mindset of adaptability: a growth mindset. Coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, a growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can evolve through effort and learning. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, which assumes your traits are static. When you face change, a new job requirement, a failed project, or an unexpected opportunity, a growth mindset says, "I can learn this," instead of "this isn't for me." A 2017 meta-analysis in Psychological Bulletin showed that individuals with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges, persist through setbacks, and achieve long-term success. To cultivate this, reframe change as a chance to grow. When something disrupts your plans, ask, "What skill or strength can I develop through this?" Adaptability also requires emotional flexibility. Change often triggers discomfort, fear of the unknown, frustration at lost control, or anxiety about failure. These emotions are normal, but they don't have to dictate your response. A technique called cognitive flexibility helps here. It's the ability to shift your perspective and consider multiple angles of a situation. For example, if you lose your job, you might initially think, "This is a disaster." Cognitive flexibility allows you to also see, "This is a chance to pursue a career I'm passionate about." A 2019 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that cognitive flexibility reduces stress and improves problem solving under pressure. Practice this by listing 3 possible interpretations of any change you face: one negative, one neutral, one positive. This trains your brain to see options, not dead ends. Now let's talk strategy. Adaptability isn't about reacting impulsively. It's about responding thoughtfully. Start by staying informed. The more you know about your environment, whether it's your industry, your community, or global trends, the better you can anticipate and adapt to change. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, follow X accounts or newsletters that share insights on market shifts or emerging technologies. A 2020 study in Strategic Management Journal found that proactive learning, seeking out new information before it's needed, enhances adaptability and competitive advantage. Dedicate 10 minutes a day to reading or listening to something that expands your perspective. Another key is experimentation. Adaptability thrives on a willingness to try new approaches, even if they might fail. Think of your actions as experiments, not final verdicts. Want to pivot your career? Test a side project before quitting your job. Want to improve a skill? Try a new learning method like online courses or mentorship. A 2016 study in organizational behavior and human decision processes showed that an experimental mindset, treating actions as tests rather than commitments, reduces fear of failure and increases innovation. If an experiment fails, you haven't lost. You've gained data to refine your approach. Let's address planning. While consistency requires systems, adaptability requires flexibility within those systems. Create plans with room to pivot. For example, if your goal is to build a fitness routine, have a backup plan for busy days, maybe a 10-minute home workout instead of an hour at the gym. This if-then planning, studied in a 2015 Journal of Personality and Social Psychology paper, increases follow-through by preparing you for obstacles. Write down one goal and an if-then contingency. If I can't work out in the morning, then I'll do a quick session after work. This keeps you moving forward, even when life throws curveballs. Your environment matters too. Surround yourself with adaptable people, those who embrace change and model resilience. Their mindset will rub off on you. A 2017 study in social networks found that social circles influence adaptability. People with diverse, open-minded networks are better at navigating change. Join communities, online or offline, where people share stories of pivoting or overcoming obstacles. On X, follow accounts that post about resilience or innovation. And engage in discussions to broaden your perspective. At the same time, limit exposure to rigid or negative influences that reinforce fear of change. One often overlooked aspect of adaptability is self-care. Change is stressful, and stress can cloud your ability to think flexibly. A 2018 study in Journal of Occupational Health Psychology found that regular self-care, sleep, exercise, nutrition enhances cognitive flexibility and resilience. Prioritize 7 to 8 hours of sleep, move your body daily, and eat foods that fuel your brain, like whole grains and leafy greens. Even small acts, like a 5-minute walk or a glass of water, can recharge your adaptability muscle. Failure is part of the adaptability equation. Each misstep is a chance to adjust your course. Take the example of Elon Musk. When SpaceX's early rocket launches failed, he didn't double down on the same approach. He analyzed the failures, adapted the designs, and kept iterating. Today, SpaceX is revolutionizing space travel. When you hit a wall, ask, what's one thing I can do differently? A 2019 study in Journal of Applied Psychology showed that iterative problem solving, making small adjustments based on feedback, leads to better outcomes than sticking to a failing plan. Finally, embrace uncertainty as a teacher. The unknown isn't your enemy. It's a canvas for creativity. When you don't know what's next, you're forced to think, innovate, and grow. Practice tolerating uncertainty by taking small risks. Try a new hobby, pitch an idea, or talk to a stranger. A 2016 study in emotion found that exposure to manageable uncertainty increases psychological flexibility over time. Start with one small leap into the unknown this week and notice how it expands your comfort zone. Your homework for this chapter: identify one area of your life where change feels challenging, a goal, a relationship, or a situation. Write down 3 ways you could adapt to it, e.g., learn a new skill, try a different approach, seek advice. Take one small action based on one of those ideas and reflect on what you learn. Also, spend 10 minutes daily exploring something new. Read an article, follow an X thread, or listen to a podcast that challenges your perspective. Adaptability is the art of thriving in change, and every flexible thought brings you closer to becoming who you're meant to be. Chapter 8, The Vision of Purpose, Anchoring Your Thoughts to Meaning. Your thoughts are the compass, your actions the steps, and your resilience the fuel. But without a clear purpose, you're wandering in circles. The phrase, the mind is everything, what you think, you become, finds its deepest power when your thoughts are anchored to a purpose that lights your soul on fire. Purpose is the why behind your what, the driving force that gives your actions meaning and your life direction. This chapter is a profound exploration of how to discover, refine, and harness your purpose to align your thoughts with the person you're destined to become, transforming every step into a journey of fulfillment. Purpose is more than a goal. It's the heartbeat of your existence. It's the reason you get out of bed, the thread that weaves your thoughts, beliefs, and actions into a cohesive story. People with a strong sense of purpose live longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. A 2019 study in JAMA Network Open found that individuals with a high sense of purpose had a 30% lower risk of mortality over a decade, even when controlling for factors like age and health. Purpose isn't just a feel-good concept. It's a lifeline that keeps you grounded when life gets turbulent, and a beacon that guides you when the path is unclear. So, what is purpose? It's not necessarily a grand mission to save the world, though it can be. It's the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for, often called the ikigai in Japanese philosophy. For some, it's creating art that inspires. For others, it's raising a family, building a business, or solving a problem in their community. Your purpose doesn't have to be static. It can evolve, but it must resonate with your core values and give your thoughts a focal point. Without it, your mind can drift into aimlessness, making it harder to become the person you envision. Let's start with discovery. Finding your purpose begins with introspection. Ask yourself, what makes me lose track of time? What would I do even if I weren't paid? What impact do I want to leave on the world? These questions cut through the noise of external expectations, society, family, or social media, and help you uncover what truly matters. A 2017 study in Journal of Research and Personality found that self-reflection increases purpose clarity, leading to higher motivation and life satisfaction. Set aside 10 minutes to journal your answers to these questions. Don't censor yourself. Let the words flow. Patterns will emerge, pointing you toward your why. If you're struggling, look to your past. What moments in your life felt most meaningful? Maybe it was helping a friend through a tough time, solving a complex problem, or creating something from scratch. These moments are clues. For example, if teaching others brings you joy, your purpose might involve mentoring or education. If you feel alive when solving problems, it might lie in innovation or advocacy. Don't worry if your purpose feels vague at first. Clarity comes through exploration. As author Simon Sinek says, start with why and let that why guide your thoughts and actions. Purpose also requires alignment. Your thoughts must reflect your purpose, or they'll pull you off course. If your purpose is to inspire through storytelling, but your mind is consumed with self-doubt, I'm not a good writer, you're creating friction. A 2018 study in psychological science showed that aligning thoughts with values increases cognitive coherence, reducing stress and boosting focus. Practice purposeful thinking by crafting affirmations tied to your why. For example, my stories uplift and connect people, reinforces your purpose and shapes your mindset. Say it daily, write it on a sticky note, or post it in an X thread to remind yourself and inspire others. Action is where purpose comes alive. Your purpose isn't something you find and then sit on. It's something you live through daily choices. Break it down into small, actionable steps. If your purpose is to improve community health, start by volunteering once a week or sharing health tips on X. A 2016 study in Journal of Positive Psychology found that purpose-driven actions, even small ones, increase well-being and resilience. Each step reinforces your purpose, making it a stronger anchor for your thoughts. Ask, what's one thing I can do today that aligns with my why? Then do it, no matter how small. Let's address obstacles. Purpose doesn't make life easy, it makes it meaningful. You'll face doubts, distractions, and moments when your purpose feels out of reach. A 2019 study in Journal of Happiness Studies found that people with a strong sense of purpose are better at navigating setbacks because they see challenges as part of their journey. When doubt creeps in, revisit your why. Write a letter to your future self, explaining why your purpose matters and how it will shape your life. On tough days, Read it to reconnect with your North Star. Your environment plays a huge role in sustaining purpose. Surround yourself with people who share or respect your why. A 2017 study in social psychological and personality science showed that supportive social networks amplify purpose-driven behavior. Join communities on X, in local groups, or through professional networks where people pursue similar passions. Share your purpose publicly. Posting about it on X can attract like-minded individuals and hold you accountable. At the same time, limit exposure to influences that dilute your purpose, like naysayers or content that pulls you into comparison traps. Purpose also evolves with experience. What feels meaningful at 20 might shift by 40. Embrace this fluidity. Regularly check in with yourself. Does my purpose still light me up? Am I growing toward it? A 2020 study in developmental psychology found that purpose refinement, adjusting your why as you grow, leads to greater life satisfaction over time. Think of purpose as a living thing, not a fixed destination. For example, a purpose of helping others might start as volunteering, evolve into teaching, and later become advocacy. Stay open to its growth. One powerful practice is visualization with purpose. Picture yourself living your purpose, not just the end result, but the daily experience. If your purpose is to empower others through coaching, imagine the moment a client has a breakthrough because of your guidance. A 2016 study in Journal of Sports Sciences showed that process-focused visualization strengthens motivation and clarity. Spend a few minutes daily imagining yourself embodying your purpose. It's like programming your mind to seek and create that reality. Finally, purpose thrives on contribution. It's not just about you, it's about the ripple effect you create. A 2018 study in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that purpose tied to helping others increases resilience and happiness more than self-focused goals. Ask, how does my purpose serve the world? Even small acts, sharing knowledge, offering kindness, or creating something valuable, amplify your impact. Your purpose isn't just what you become, it's what you give. Your homework for this chapter: spend 15 minutes journaling to uncover your purpose. Answer, what do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need? What can I be rewarded for? Identify one small action you can take tomorrow that aligns with your purpose. Post an inspiring idea on X, volunteer, or research a skill. Also, craft one purpose-driven affirmation and repeat it daily. Your purpose is the anchor that turns your thoughts into a life of meaning, and every step toward it shapes who you become. Chapter 9, The Courage to Persist, Defying the Urge to Quit. Your thoughts, beliefs, focus, actions, resilience, adaptability, and purpose are all pieces of the puzzle, but the glue that holds them together is persistence. The phrase, the mind is everything, what you think, you become, only becomes reality when you refuse to give up, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Persistence is the courage to keep going through failure, doubt, and exhaustion, trusting that every step forward brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. This chapter is a deep dive into why persistence is the ultimate test of your mental strength and how to cultivate the grit to push through when quitting feels like the easier path. Persistence is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. History is littered with stories of people who succeeded not because they were the smartest or most talented, but because they kept going. Take J.K. Rowling, who faced 12 rejections for Harry Potter before a publisher took a chance on her. Or Colonel Sanders, who was rejected over 1,000 times before KFC became a reality at age 65. These aren't stories of luck. They're testaments to the power of persistence. Your thoughts shape your vision, but persistence turns that vision into reality, one determined step at a time. Why is persistence so hard? Because life is designed to test you. Your brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain, a survival mechanism from our evolutionary past. When you face rejection, failure, or uncertainty, your amygdala, the brain's fear center, lights up, urging you to retreat. A 2018 study in Neuroscience Letters found that persistence requires overriding this instinct, engaging the prefrontal cortex to focus on long-term goals over short-term discomfort. This is why quitting feels tempting. It's your brain's attempt to protect you. But growth lies on the other side of that discomfort, and persistence is the bridge. Let's start with mindset. Persistence begins with reframing challenges as temporary and solvable. A 2017 study in Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who view obstacles as challenges rather than threats are more likely to persevere. When you hit a wall, whether it's a failed project, a harsh critique, or a personal setback, tell yourself, this is hard, but it's not the end. This simple shift, called stress reappraisal, reduces cortisol levels and boosts problem solving, according to a 2019 study in psychoneuroendocrinology. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, try, I haven't figured this out yet. The word yet is a persistence powerhouse, opening the door to possibility. Another key is embracing failure as feedback. Every setback is a lesson, not a verdict. Thomas Edison didn't see his 10,000 failed light bulb attempts as defeats. He saw them as steps toward success. A 2016 study in Journal of Experimental Psychology showed that people who treat failures as learning opportunities are more likely to persist and innovate. When you fail, ask, what did I learn? How can I adjust? Write down one takeaway from every setback, and you'll start to see failure as a mentor, not a monster. For example, if a job application is rejected, maybe you learn to tailor your resume better or seek feedback on your interview skills. Persistence also requires managing your energy. You can't keep going if you're burned out. A 2020 study in Journal of Occupational Health Psychology found that pacing yourself, balancing effort with recovery, increases long-term persistence. Think of yourself as a marathon runner, not a sprinter. Schedule breaks to recharge. A 5-minute walk, a quick nap, or a moment of gratitude can reset your mind. Prioritize sleep, 7 to 8 hours nightly, as sleep deprivation reduces willpower, according to a 2017 study in sleep medicine. Fuel your body with nutritious food and movement. Exercise boosts endorphins, which enhance mood and persistence, per a 2018 study in Frontiers in Psychology. Your environment shapes your ability to persist. Surround yourself with people who inspire tenacity, friends, mentors, or communities who faced and overcome challenges. A 2017 study in Social Psychological and Personality Science found that social support increases perseverance by providing encouragement and accountability. Join an X group or online forum where people share stories of grit and progress. Share your own journey there, even the struggles. It'll connect you with others who get it. At the same time, distance yourself from chronic complainers or doubters who drain your resolve. Your mental space is sacred. Protect it. Let's talk about the dip, that moment when progress stalls and quitting feels inevitable. Author Seth Godin describes this in The Dip. Every worthwhile goal has a low point where effort seems futile. The key is knowing when to push through and when to pivot. If your goal aligns with your purpose, Chapter 8, persistence is worth it. If it doesn't, adapt, Chapter 7. To navigate the dip, break your goal into smaller milestones. A 2019 study in Motivation and Emotion found that setting and achieving micro goals boosts persistence by creating a sense of progress. If you're writing a book and feel stuck, aim to write one paragraph today. Small wins keep you moving. Self-talk is another persistence tool. Your inner dialogue can either fuel you or defeat you. A 2016 study in Journal of Sports Sciences showed that motivational self-talk, like "keep going, you've got this," improves endurance and performance. Create a personal mantra for tough moments, like "I'm stronger than this challenge," or "one more step." Say it out loud or write it down. Post it on X to inspire others and reinforce your commitment. When doubt creeps in, counter it with evidence of past wins. Recall a time you persisted and succeeded, no matter how small. This builds what psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to keep going. Accountability is a game changer. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, mentor, or ex-community, and ask them to check in on your progress. A 2018 study in Journal of Applied Psychology found that accountability increases follow-through by up to 65%. Set specific check-ins, like a weekly update on your progress. Public commitment, like posting your goals on X, adds another layer of motivation. Knowing others are watching can push you to stay the course. Finally, celebrate persistence itself, not just results. Every day you show up is a victory. A 2015 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that celebrating effort, not just outcomes, boosts intrinsic motivation and reduces burnout. Reward yourself for sticking with it. A coffee, a movie, or a moment to reflect on your grit. These small acknowledgments reinforce the habit of persistence, making it part of who you are. Your homework for this chapter: identify one goal where you're tempted to quit. Write down why it matters to you. Tie it to your purpose from chapter 8. Then, list one micro goal you can achieve this week to keep moving forward. Create a mantra to repeat when doubt hits, and share your goal with someone for accountability. Maybe post it on X to connect with others. Track your persistence daily and reward yourself for showing up, even in small ways. The mind is everything, and by persisting, you prove that what you think can become what you are. Chapter 10: The Legacy of Becoming. Crafting a life that echoes your thoughts. You've planted the seeds of thought, rewired your beliefs, sharpened your focus, taken consistent action, built emotional resilience, adapted to change, anchored yourself to purpose, and persisted through challenges. Now, as we reach the final chapter, it's time to look at the bigger picture: the legacy you're creating. The phrase, "the mind is everything," what you think you become, isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming a person whose life leaves an imprint, a testament to the power of your mind. This chapter is a deep exploration of how to integrate everything you've learned into a life that reflects your highest vision, leaving a legacy that inspires others and fulfills your deepest aspirations. Legacy isn't about fame or fortune. It's about impact. It's the mark you leave on the world, whether through the lives you touch, the work you create, or the values you embody. Every thought you nurture, every action you take, and every challenge you overcome contributes to this legacy. Think of it as a tapestry woven from the threads of your daily choices. A 2019 study in Journal of Positive Psychology found that people who focus on creating a meaningful legacy through contribution, relationships, or personal growth report higher life satisfaction and a greater sense of fulfillment. Your legacy is the ultimate expression of what you think and who you become. Let's start with integration. The previous chapters gave you tools: thought awareness, belief reframing, focus, action, resilience, adaptability, purpose, and persistence. Now it's about weaving them into a cohesive whole. Imagine your life as a symphony. Each tool is an instrument, and you're the conductor. If one instrument, say action, drowns out the others, like resilience, the music is off. Balance is key. For example, if you're acting consistently but losing sight of your purpose, pause to realign. A 2018 study in Journal of Happiness Studies showed that integrating multiple psychological strengths, like purpose and resilience, leads to greater well-being than focusing on one alone. Reflect weekly. Are my thoughts, actions, and emotions aligned with the person I want to become? Your legacy starts with clarity about the impact you want to make. Ask yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? Is it kindness, innovation, courage, or creativity? Write a legacy statement, a single sentence that captures your desired impact. For example, I want to be remembered for empowering others to believe in their potential. This statement isn't set in stone, it's a guiding star. A 2017 study in Psychological Review found that people with a clear sense of legacy are more likely to make intentional choices that align with their long-term vision. Revisit your statement monthly, tweaking it as you grow. Now, let's talk about living your legacy daily. You don't need to wait for a grand moment. Legacy is built in the small, consistent choices you make. If your legacy is about inspiring others, it might mean sharing an encouraging post on X, mentoring a colleague, or simply listening to a friend. If it's about innovation, it might mean experimenting with a new idea or solving a problem in your community. A 2016 study in Journal of Social Issues found that small, value-driven actions create a ripple effect, influencing others in ways you might not see. Every time you act in alignment with your legacy, you're adding a thread to that tapestry. Relationships are the cornerstone of legacy. The people you impact, family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, carry your influence forward. A 2020 study in social psychological and personality science showed that meaningful relationships are the strongest predictor of a lasting sense of purpose and legacy. Invest in your connections. Practice active listening, show gratitude, and offer support without expecting anything in return. Share your journey on platforms like X to connect with others who share your values. Your story might inspire someone you'll never meet. Ask, how can I make someone's day better? A single kind act can plant a seed that grows far beyond your lifetime. Your legacy also lives in your creations. Whether it's a business, a book, a piece of art, or a tradition you start with your family, what you create is a tangible extension of your thoughts. Don't underestimate the power of starting small. A blog post, a community project, or even a heartfelt letter can outlive you. For example, Anne Frank's diary, written in hiding, became a global symbol of hope and resilience. A 2018 study in Creativity Research Journal found that creative output tied to personal values leaves a stronger legacy than work done for external validation. Create something this week, a sketch, a post, a plan that reflects your vision. Let's address the fear of imperfection. You might think, I'm not ready to leave a legacy, or my work isn't good enough. Perfection is the enemy of impact. Your legacy isn't about flawless execution, it's about authentic effort. A 2019 study in Journal of Personality found that people who embrace imperfection in their pursuits are more likely to persist and create meaningful outcomes. Share your work, even if it's rough. Post that idea on X, launch that project, or teach that skill. Your courage to show up imperfectly inspires others to do the same. Time is your most precious resource in crafting a legacy. You can't control how long you have, but you can control how you use it. A 2017 study in Journal of Consumer Research found that people who prioritize time over money, focusing on experiences and impact rather than accumulation, report greater life satisfaction. Audit your time. Are you spending it on things that align with your legacy? Cut out one low-value activity, like mindless scrolling, and replace it with something meaningful, like working on a project or connecting with someone important. Treat every day as a chance to build your legacy, one thought and action at a time. Resilience and adaptability, chapters 6 and 7, are crucial here. Building a legacy means facing setbacks and evolving with the world. When your efforts don't yield immediate results, persist, chapter 9. When circumstances shift, adapt. For example, if your goal is to teach others but in-person workshops aren't possible, pivot to online content or X threads. A 2020 study in the Leadership Quarterly found that leaders who adapt their approach while staying true to their core values leave the most enduring legacies. Stay flexible, but never lose sight of your why. Finally, reflect on your progress. Legacy isn't a destination, it's a process. At the end of each week, ask, what did I do this week that moved me closer to my legacy? Celebrate the small wins, a kind word, a finished project, a lesson learned. A 2016 study in emotion showed that reflecting on progress boosts motivation and a sense of purpose. Share your reflections with a trusted friend or on X to solidify your commitment and inspire others. Your legacy isn't just for you, it's a gift to the world. Your homework for this chapter: write your legacy statement. What do you want to be remembered for? Then, identify one daily action that aligns with it, like sharing knowledge, creating something, or strengthening a relationship. Do it for a week, track your progress, and reflect on how it feels. Also, post one thought or action related to your legacy on X to connect with others and amplify your impact. The mind is everything, and through your thoughts, actions, and persistence, you become a legacy that echoes beyond your lifetime.